Reusable shopping bags are really handy to have, not just for shopping, but for going to the library to use as book bags or for traveling or anything else. And instead of buying a pattern in fabric, which would be much more expensive and time consuming, you can just use an old t-shirt. So find an old t-shirt, turn it inside out, lay it down on your table and line up the shoulder seams and the side seams if the shirt has it and the bottom of the shirt. And you're going to want to pin the bottom, the two layers together, the front and back, and sew along the hem, just inside where the hem is. So I'm going to sew this seam using a stitch length of 1. And I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and at the end. It's going to go kind of slow because you're using such a small stitch length. And because this is a knit, it will stretch, so just hold it and try not to let it stretch too much. And then I'm going to back stitch again at the end. Okay. So you've just sewed this seam right here along the hem. The next thing to do is to lay the t-shirt out so that the seam is in the middle. So you're going to pull the front and back of the t-shirt to the side to make a triangle with the seam in the middle. And you're going to mark a line about 3 inches from the tip of the triangle. And this is to make the base of the bag. You don't have to do this step, you can just leave it how it is. But doing this will make the base of the bag more rectangular instead of just coming to a point where the seam is. So next I'm going to sew again with a stitch length of 1 along this line. And I'm going to do that on both sides of the t-shirt. I just sewed this line across here, across the t-shirt on both ends of the t-shirt to make this triangle. With the shirt still inside out, line up the shoulder seams and the side seams again, and using a medium-sized bowl, place it upside down about halfway over the neck opening. Trace a line along the outside of the bowl onto the t-shirt. And you want the t-shirt to be inside out at this point, so you don't have to worry about these lines showing if you don't cut exactly on the line. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is pin the 2 layers of shirt together on the inside and cut along that line. And you want to pin the 2 layers of the shirt together so that you're sure that the layers don't shift while you're cutting, so the neck hole that you cut will be even all the way around. So just a few pins, you don't need a lot, just to make sure it doesn't move around. And then turn it around, and with your fabric scissors, cut along that line. Using a cotton knit is really nice because knits don't unravel. If you were to use a regular cotton or another type of woven fabric, you'd have to finish the edges. But knits they don't unravel, which is really nice. So now you have a much wider opening to put stuff into the bag. The last thing you do is cut off the sleeves, and you'll want to cut on the inside of the seam line. There's one, and do the other one. You don't have to cut real precisely. Okay, so then you turn the bag inside out, right side out, excuse me, and there you go.